The workweek and weekend are those complementary parts of the week devoted to labor and rest, respectively. The legal working week, or workweek, is the part of the 7-day week devoted to labor. In most Western countries it is Monday to Friday. The weekend is a time period including Saturday and Sunday. A weekday is any day of the working week, as well as places of work. Other institutions often follow the same days, such as places of education. Some people extend the weekend to Friday nights as well. In some Christian traditions, Sunday is the Lord's Day, and the day of rest and worship. Jewish Shabbat or Biblical Sabbath lasts from sunset on Friday to the fall of full darkness on Saturday, leading to a Friday-Saturday weekend in Israel. Some Muslim-majority countries historically had a Thursday-Friday or Friday-Saturday weekend. However, recently many such countries have shifted from Thursday-Friday to Friday-Saturday, or to Saturday-Sunday. The French Revolutionary calendar had 10-day weeks and allowed décadi, 1 out of the 10 days, as a leisure day. The present-day concept of the weekend first arose from the Jewish Sabbath. The Christian Sabbath was just 1 day each week, but the preceding day came to be taken as a holiday as well in the 20th century. This shift has been accompanied by a reduction in the total number of hours worked per week, following changes in employer expectations. Proposals have continued to be put forward for further reductions in the number of days or hours worked per week, on the basis of predicted social and economic benefits. History. In cultures with a 6-day workweek, the day of rest derives from the culture's main religious tradition: Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. However, numerous countries have adopted a 2-day weekend over the past several decades, i.e., either Thursday-Friday, Friday-Saturday, or Saturday-Sunday. In 1908, the first 5-day workweek in the United States was instituted by a New England cotton mill to afford Jewish workers the ability to adhere to the Sabbath. In 1926, Henry Ford began shutting down his automotive factories for all of Saturday and Sunday. In 1929, the Amalgamated Clothing Workers of America Union was the first union to demand a 5-day workweek and receive it. After that, the rest of the United States slowly followed, but it was not until 1940, when a provision of the 1938 Fair Labor Standards Act mandating a maximum 40-hour work week went into effect, that the 2-day weekend was adopted nationwide. Over the succeeding decades, particularly in the 1940s, 1950s, and 1960s, an increasing number of countries adopted either a Friday-Saturday or Saturday-Sunday weekend to harmonize with international markets. A series of workweek reforms in the mid to late 2000s and early 2010s brought much of the Arab world in synchronization with the majority of countries around the world. In terms of working hours, the length of the workweek, and the days of the weekend, reform, actual workweek lengths have been falling in the developed world. Every reduction of the length of the workweek has been accompanied by an increase in real per capita income. In the United States, the workweek length reduced slowly from before the Civil War to the turn of the 20th century. A rapid reduction took place from 1900 to 1920, especially between 1913 and 1919, when weekly hours fell by about 8%. In 1926, Henry Ford standardized on a 5-day workweek, instead of the prevalent 6 days, without reducing employees' pay. Hours worked stabilized at about 49 per week during the 1920s, and during the Great Depression fell below 40. During the Depression, President Herbert Hoover called for a reduction in work hours in lieu of layoffs. Later, President Franklin Roosevelt signed the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, which established a 5-day, 40-hour work week for many workers. The proportion of people working very long weeks has since risen, and the full-time employment of women has increased dramatically. The New Economics Foundation has recommended moving to a 21-hour standard work week to address problems with unemployment, high carbon emissions,
low well-being, entrenched inequalities, overworking, family care, and the general lack of free time. The Center for Economic and Policy Research states that reducing the length of the work week would slow climate change and have other environmental benefits.